Let's get everything situated, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm live, I'm live. Hold on. We got to do our regular intro. What's going on, everybody? We're just starting up here. All right, let's get into it. It is Wednesday, May 31st. Welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream on the Just Baseball Network. We went live. Normally we go live at around 4:30. We did it a couple minutes early because we want to start delivering winners. And they're all, of course, on BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Wager $10 on any MLB money line and receive $100 in bonus bets. If you have yet to do so, now is the time to do it. Because this ends on June 1st, right? And it is May 31st. So they only offer free money for so long, right? So make sure to get it in soon on the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM. Yeah, bonus bets are also on BetMGM right now. You can still claim your bonus bets. So that's why it's a good thing to download the BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use that code, and every Wednesday and Saturday, you will see bonus bets in your account. Just trying to give you away some free money. And talking about free money on the Pikkit Sports app, Peter, how the heck did the almighty Rangers lose to the Tigers AAA roster today? I told you guys there was going to be a lot of landmines. I think this board is one of the toughest that we've seen. Oh, we got a Book It raid coming in. What's up, Book It crew? You're right in time. We got a great show ahead of us. Not only am I going to go over my pick, we're going to go over all the models' picks. And then we have, what is it, Producer Cohen? We got 18 different plays? 15. Oh, well, you got to put your mic on. The people got to hear you. We got Producer Cohen and Mike. So when I ask Producer Cohen, instead of you hearing him from across the pond, we're actually going to get him on mic. Let's see if we can hear him. Give them a 10-4s in chat.
How we doing, everybody?
Hey, that's Producer Cohen right there. Give him a little 10-4s.
10-4.
W Producer Cohen. We got Producer Cohen and Mike.
Yeah, we got 8 people today.
8 people today.
15 picks. 15 picks.
What a show.
Yeah.
What a show.
This is how we do things now.
10-4s. So we got, 18 picks? 8 people. 8 people, 15 picks. My picks, the model. It's going to be a great show. Welcome to it. And, of course, Javon's going to be coming on, giving his prize picks. We got a bunch of other people coming on. What a show. What a show indeed. So let's do a quick recap of yesterday, because yesterday was friggin' mid. San Diego versus the Miami Marlins. That went over. That was a relatively easy cash. The game ended 9-4, 7.5. Sure, that was easy. But how about the Detroit Tigers? Everybody on planet Earth, I guess, was on the Tigers. I have a problem with people using the term fake sharp because I don't think that's a real thing. I think a bet either loses or it wins, right? If you can beat closing line value, which we did, that's what you want to do long term. Some win, some lose. I think the read was there. If you told me that the Detroit Tigers were going to score 6 runs in that game, I would have bet it because the total was 8, 9. So I would have made that bet again. It lost. It was an underdog. Shit happens. And then, of course, our prize picks entry yesterday was an absolute donation. I mean, what a horrible prize picks entry by me. Me only. I was the one who pitched this. Can you throw that up there, the prize picks? Do we have a zoom in on there? You could see that Ryan Noda was supposed to go over a half base. He certainly did not do so. And then we have, who was that? Zach Greinke, 5.5 hits. Nice job, Cardinals. I think, what did he give up? 2 hits? I thought, and maybe this was being dumb. I don't think it was. Cardinals were almost perfect gamed. Now they're facing a pitcher that they've seen 200 times in terms of plate appearances. You'd think that they would perform. Whatever. We lost. Donation minus 0.2 units. Can you flash the leaderboard for the people? Just let everybody know, because of course we're going to have a bunch of people come on and give on picks. This is the leaderboard right now, so you know who to tail, who to fade. Of course, there are some people in the red, but they've been getting better. As we know, this is a long road. And of course, I'm your leader right now. But I'm not quick to brag about it because, as we know, baseball is a season of ups and downs, right? I had an 0-5 streak there. Then I went 3-0, back-to-back winning days. Then I just went 1-1 yesterday. And I only have one pick today, but of course, it's tracked on the Pikkit Sports app. So if you ever miss a pick, we're all on Pikkit, and you can use code Peter when you sync your sports book to be entered into a raffle to win $3 to $100. The best pick tracking app is, of course, Pikkit Sports. You guys know the drill. Download the app, use our code, and help us out. All right? But let's get into my first play of the day. Who do we got in chat? We got Shelly. Do you like Braves -1.5 today? No, I do not. Do you guys remember last season when the Pirates swept the Dodgers in one of those series where it was like, holy crap, right? How did that happen? The A's this season, believe it or not, are going to win 40 games, right? I would not be on the Braves at all today. I'm not trying to catch that, right? I'm not trying to be the guy who's consistently on the Braves losing coin. Just stay away from that game. I felt like this whole day today has been full of traps, right? I think it's a board filled with landmines. And I'm not saying I'm playing the A's, but I'm not playing the Braves, all right? But here's what I am playing, all right? So our first pick of the day is the Colorado Rockies versus the Arizona Diamondbacks at 9:40 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup is Dinelson Lamet versus Tommy Henry. So on the surface, this game looks like it could end 40-30 based on the starting pitcher's performance this season. But when I look deeper, I see a lot of matchups where I don't see either offense really getting going. Let me explain. The Rockies are an embarrassment this season against left-handed pitching. Over the entire year, they rank dead last in WRC plus and 28th in OPS. Bad. The fact that they rank 28th in OPS when they get to play half of their games on the moon, because WRC plus is park adjusted. So that gives us a better representation of really how the Rockies are, regardless of park against lefties, dead last. The fact that they're 28th in OPS when they play half their games at Coors is embarrassing. So in May, they have a 73 WRC plus against lefties. That's 27% below league average. In the last 2 weeks, over 141 plate appearances, a 50 WRC plus. You know where that ranks? Dead last. The offense cannot string together a successful day against lefties, and they're going to go up today against a lefty in Tommy Henry. So Henry is a below average pitcher, right? I'm not here to pitch you that he's this great pitcher. That's why the total itself is at 10. But his expected ERA is 4.67, but his FIP and XFIP are near 6. Not good. Peripherals are really high due to the lack of strikeouts. But what he does best is he relies on soft contact, sitting in the 80th percentile in hard hit rate. The Rockies faced Tommy Henry this season already in Coors Field. They scored 4 runs in 5 1/3. That start against Colorado in Coors Field was the worst of his season so far. And he's been impressive, especially in May, pitching to a 3.70 ERA. He continues to outperform peripherals because he's keeping the ball on the ground at a 40% clip and he's limiting hard contact. The Rockies have 9 total, count them, 9 home runs this season off left-handed pitching. That's been the way to get to Henry because he's allowed 6 this season. A team that's not hitting for power nor hitting left-handed pitching should not have that good of a day against Tommy Henry. But it doesn't just stop there. Tommy Henry is a reverse splits pitcher. What does that mean? He's actually better against righties. Regular splits is, a lefty. It's, you play baseball. If you're a right-handed hitter, it's easier to hit left-handed pitching because you can see the ball better. Tommy Henry's the other direction. So what the Rockies are going to do today, because they don't know what they're doing, with all due respect, they're going to load up their team with right-handed bats, right? I think the only lefties you're probably going to see is like McMahon, who Javon's going to talk about in a bit, Castro. Who else they got? Because there's no Charlie Blackmon today because he's still on the bereavement list. Who's the other? It might be Nolan Jones, but they haven't been putting Nolan Jones in against lefties because he's also new. I doubt they put him in today. So it's going to be a right-handed dominant lineup against the guy in Tommy Henry, who's allowed 1,000 OPS this season to left-handed bats, 700 against righties. But on the flip side, Dinelson Lamet is interesting. His first stint with the Rockies, this is why you see his ERA, it was hard to find these highlights. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find these highlights. He has been just dreadful this season, rocking a 12.66 ERA. However, in that time span, his xERA is 5.06. But the reason being is that he walked the world. He only threw 10 innings this year before getting injured and sent down to the minor leagues. But the Rockies have been slowly bringing him back to form. Dominant in the minor leagues during his rehab. Allowed 1 run in 10 1/3. But I don't really care about that. What I care about, are you throwing strikes? Because baseball fans know about Dinelson Lamet. Nasty Stuff has no idea where it's going. So the only thing I'm concerned about when I was watching him in the minor leagues, are you throwing strikes? In those 10 and a third in the minor leagues, 11 Ks, 1 walk, right? So the command is coming back. He has to get back into rhythm. And the problem has always been control, not the stuff. And we're starting to see that to return. But at the same time, I don't expect him to dominate. And I also don't expect him to throw 3 or 4 innings or more than 3 or 4 innings. He'll be followed by a Rockies bullpen, who I have talked about and I have been right on. They have good bullpen arms. And the lucky thing is, this is why I think it goes under the total today, is they have all their better relievers available. Brent Suter, 2.34 expected ERA. Pierce Johnson, 4.24 expected ERA, which is much better than his 6 ERA. Jake Bird, 3.21. Justin Lawrence, 2.76. Brad Hand, 3.88. They're all available today to follow Dinelson Lamet. And we know sometimes that in bullpen games, the offense never really adjusts because they keep seeing different arms. I do think that Dinelson Lamet is terrible. I do think that in those 2 to 3 innings that he pitches, he gives up 2 earned runs, right? But the total gives us a lot of breathing room. But I think the offense slows after that. And the Diamondbacks on top of Tommy Henry, because I don't think, like, Tommy Henry is not very good, right? I don't think that he throws a 6-inning shutout. What I do think happens is that he's 5 innings, 3 runs. So let's say after 5 innings, the score is 3-3, 6 runs, not looking great. That's the point of taking the full game under. Because when you look at the Diamondbacks, they're going to have a full complement of bullpen arms too, whether that be Kevin Ginkel, 3.85 expected ERA, Andrew Chafin, 3.66, Kyle Nelson, 4.15, and Austin Adams, 1.04. If both starters can be average, I think this game soars under. That's how I see the game going, right? And the model has it at 9, not 10. 10 is just too many runs. Now, this has a chance of blowing up. I don't love the board today, but this was my favorite pick by far because I feel like there's more times this game will go under than it will go over. The reason I see it could go over is if Tommy Henry gets destroyed and Dinelson Lamet walks the world and gives up 8 earned runs. Could happen, but I think a more likely scenario is Tommy Henry pitches average, Dinelson Lamet doesn't get blown up, and then we have a full complement of bullpen arms because in this series so far, neither team has really had to use anybody. 10, what we saw with Carl Kaufman versus Ryan Nelson, I think Kaufman's worse than Lamet, and I think Ryan Nelson's worse than Henry. And that game ended on 12 runs, and it was a lot early. This matchup, I don't see it. I really don't see it. So I'm taking the under 10 runs at minus 115. Let's see if there's any questions I can answer. Braves, I'm so bricked. Peter, you're selling me more on a first half over with these starters being as bad as they are. The thing is, I'm a little bit intrigued by Lamet, right? I'm a little bit intrigued by him. He could weirdly only give up 1 run, let's say, through 3 innings, then get pulled. Then you have bullpen arms, and then the offense never really comes in. Now, it depends on what your view is, right? If you look into Lamet, you look into his minor league stuff, you watch some film, and you're like, yeah, this guy is horrible. By all means. I'm not so sure, right? Another Angels nuke. Not a mush. What's going on, my friend? Does anybody... Ryan McMahon just hit his 3rd of the game, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, Javon. Javon and I were talking about it. I think he liked the over, but he didn't submit it. I wonder why. We'll talk about it. All right. Let's get into the model. Remember, these are perk factors, game simulations, and a matchup machine in order to give you guys value on either side from a math perspective. From a math perspective, right? This is just numbers, and it's up to you guys in order to see if you find an angle here, right? If you already like a play and the model loves it, maybe that'll give you that extra confidence booster. If you are on a play and the model hates it, maybe do some more digging, all right? Let's bring up the first game on the model. All right, we got Blake Snell versus Braxton Garrett. As you can see, slight lean towards the over at 8.5, right? Minus 137 is the implied over on this game. I don't know. I like it because I saw that the bullpen was used a lot yesterday, and both these teams are pretty good, damn good against lefties. I like this play. Not my favorite, but I could see it going over. The Marlins have just been crushing lefties lately, and the Padres, their better split is against lefties. I just have a tough time betting on Blake Snell starts. To be quite honest with you, I have a tough time doing it. I just do. He's so inconsistent, as you guys know. Blake Snell. You guys know what it is. All right, let's get to the next game. All right, this one we have Luke Weaver facing off against James Paxton. I've heard a lot of Reds banter today. A lot of people like the Reds in this spot. I could see it, right? Reds better split is, of course, against a lefty, but I'm a little bit nervous because the Reds did put up 9 yesterday, and the Red Sox gained some momentum by scoring late in that game. The model thinks this is about what it should be. But what should be noted is that on books, the Reds opened up some places at plus 190, and they are now down to plus 145. So there's a ton of line movement there. Ton of line movement for the Reds. But the model thinks it should be around minus 140, plus 140 on both sides. Not much of an angle here outside of the under. But I don't know if you guys remember yesterday, the model loved the under. I was scared because 10 was a very high for that specific game. Ended up 17 runs were scored. I think the model isn't doing a great job of factoring in this total right now. I'm still staying away. All right, let's move to the next game on the model. We have the Toronto Blue Jays with the Alek Manoah fade trade taking on Julio Teheran, who is not good at baseball. He pitched well in his first start. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Another tough game. You're seeing a little bit of value on the under. How you feel about Cincy keeping the win streak going? Yeah, we just talked about it. I think it's possible. I think they got some value there, but I'm not a huge fan of them. We got Julio Teheran showing a little bit of value on the Brewers side. It's basically like the thing is Alek Manoah's props are pretty low today and lower than they should be. Because Manoah, in spots, he can still be effective. We faded him against the Rays because that was just a horrible matchup for him. Against the Brewers, who are one of baseball's worst offenses in the month of May, can't hit a righty, definitely can't hit a lefty. Blue Jays first 5 was free as air yesterday. Everybody on this stream pitched it in cash. And I almost thought it was like a bot play, just too damn easy to be true. And yet there it was. Blue Jays put up, 7 against Adrian Hauser or some shit. So basically a little bit of value on the under. Not much there. It's a really tough slate today. What's going on in chat? Everyone's just live betting and betting afternoon baseball. People are just freaking out. Hap rung up on a 3-2 pitch. What's going on? Rays, Cubs. Jesus, Angels are just destroying them. Braves are up 2-0. See if the A's can come back. Probably not, though. Pirates up 4-2. So it does kind of feel like I did maybe overthink the board a little bit today. Might just be every square pick hits. Pirates with Mitch Keller were dogs. That seemed too good to be true. Rays as a short favorite when they crush lefties. I guess it's just happening. There's a chance I overthought the board today. What are you going to do? All right, let's get back into it. This one, again, very scary because I think it's valuing Carlos Carrasco pretty highly. And the Mets do have some success against Aaron Nola. I did not have a good read on this game. I was thinking that the over might be a decent look, and the model hates it. You need 10K reward or something, auto, tail play, or hit a Trent twerk. With all due respect to Trent, I am not a twerker. I don't got it like that. Trent's got it like that. I don't got it like that. And that's kind of his thing. So I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing over here. With all due respect. Pirates 6-2. Is it just the square stand? Man, I don't mean to say square. I just mean to say the most obvious thing that are happening. I should have been on it. What are you going to do? Producer Cohen, get back on the mic. Mets, Phillies, what do you think?
Not really sure.
You just put yourself on camera to say not really sure?
I don't know. Let's see. I was the over
right?
model like the, but I still like the over, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think the model's right on that.
you got to really, you're putting a lot of trust in pitchers I don't trust right now. I'm not a big fan of Nola, how he's been looking lately. I'm definitely not a fan about how Carrasco's been looking. Like
He's been the worst.
Yeah, and he had a good start against the Guardians, but
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, it's a really tough game. But again, if you just want to follow the math, no doubt about it, the value is on that under. No doubt. I got a weird feeling. I have the same feeling as yesterday's Reds versus Red Sox over. A lot of people like that under, the model like the under. I just got a bad feeling. I just had a bad feeling about the board all season long. Cookie also pitched a gem against the Cubs. Was it against the Cubs and not? No, it wasn't against the Guardians. He got destroyed against the Guardians. He pitched that gem against the Cubs. Orioles, Guardians, 7-6. These games are nuts. So I guess it was just always the Pirates? Was it just that damn easy? Mitch Keller, one of the best pitchers in baseball, against Alex Wood. And as a dog, that was the easiest bet ever. All right. Damn it. I hate when that happens. Ugh. You got to hate when you overthink something like that. Thought it was too good to be true. What other games we got on the model? All right. Yeah, we got this game again. A little bit of value on the under. The model freaking loves Louis Varland. Absolutely loves him. But the model also loves Hunter Brown, right? The model has its biases. I've noticed that Varland, because of his stuff plus, like the way his stuff grades metrically, he's always valued very highly with the model. Game yesterday between the Astros and the Twins, the Astros won that game 5-1. Joe Ryan got pieced up a little bit. And now Varland and Ryan, from a release point at least, they're not that different, right? Facing a similar type of pitcher 2 days in where the Astros already got to him. I think it might just be you take the Astros in this matchup. Hunter Brown, big strikeout guy. Twins strike out the most in all of baseball. What the model usually does is it'll show value on the dog. That's usually what it does. Cam's going to delete the Syndergaard article. Dude is going to get DFA'd. He might get DFA'd. The problem is the Dodgers are in a weird predicament right now because Gavin Stone, who's their top prospect, just got called up. Or didn't just get called up, got called up a few starts ago and has been bad. Bobby Miller's been much better. He pitched yesterday against the Nats. I don't know what the Dodgers are going to do right now. I mean, they got to get May back. And then I think once May comes back, you guys should have a poll at the end for chat to pick its favorite play, and we have a Just Baseball squad ride. We definitely should be doing that. See how squad rides do? Oh, we figured out how to raid too? All right, sweet. Then we'll raid after this. We're figuring stuff out. I mean, what a time to be alive. 2 things down. Many more to go. Any more games on the model, Producer Cohen? All right, and then this game. As you can tell, plus 115 towards 9.5, and yet we have it at 10, right? So the model is seeing value. They still have the Diamondbacks putting up a decent chunk of change against the Colorado Rockies, but the Rockies run projection. I mean, basically what they're saying here is that this game's going to end probably 5-4. 5-4. Right? Got a little bit of juice. I like it at 10. Basically, what this model is telling us is that they think it's going to land on 9. Right? 8.5 juice to the order of minus 135, but getting over 9.5 would be a plus 115. So the model's saying that they would put the line at 9. I think it's also weirdly a sneaky nerfy. I think you might get decent value on it. I don't love it because Dinelson Lamet could get destroyed here. But it's showing pretty low odds for a nerfy when I think both pitchers early could be okay. I'm not betting it, but I am betting on the under. So take that with you, Will. Capwise Nick, W Streamers. We're trying our best. What else we got? Last game, we got the New York Yankees taking on the Seattle Mariners. The Yankees have owned this series so far, putting up, 10 runs in back-to-back games. My Yankees have been destroying these Seattle Mariners. Shout out mid-major Matt in Piss for taking the Yankees team total under 3.5. But mid-major math's been good. I'm just giving him shit because it's my Yankees, and I can showing a little bit of value on the Mariners here, which I find pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. We got Clark Schmidt. We got George Kirby. And the Yankees have really been hitting these righties that are in and around the zone, talking about Bryce Miller, talking about Logan Gilbert, and now George Kirby. Similar pitchers that the Yankees have really had success against. But then you look at Clark Schmidt, who cannot get a lefty out to save his life. I would target Kelnick. I would target J.P. Crawford, whether that be on Prize Picks. Let me see I just want to see what they have on Prize Picks for Kelnick. What do they got? Kelnick's got a 6.5 hitter score, fantasy score. What does Crawford have? Crawford's not even up there. Huh. But I do think, weirdly, Clark Schmidt could have a decent day because there is a lot of right-handed bats in this Mariners lineup, and he is a severe lefty-righty splits guy. And I think Kirby can be decently surgical today. But with that said, the model has loved this under. I would rather take Kelnick over J-Rod. I feel like you got to take the plus chicky with the Yanks. I don't hate that. I would prefer Kelnick at 6.5. Remember, Clark Schmidt is actually very good against right-handed hitters. That's his only thing. Against lefties, he gets demolished. And the fact that Kelnick is already having a better season than J-Rod, has a much better matchup, and is 1.5 points lower. I think if you want to target Mariners bats when it comes to Prize Picks, I think Kelnick is the play. But J.B. Crawford isn't even on there. Just saying. I think that's the way you got to go. Yeah. Yeah. Let's so Ballpark Pal also has some home run odds to bring up. That's a good idea. Let's do the bottom half first. As you can see, so some of these games have already happened. So basically what this model is it's giving you a % chance that the model thinks that they will hit a home run today and giving you what they think the odds should be based on that estimated chance of it happening. So the implied probability of, let's say, Cal Raleigh, who is another good home run bet against Clark Schmidt, would be 18.8%, or an implied probability of plus 432. If Cal Raleigh is plus 500, plus 600, plus 700, what the model is saying is that you're getting value on Cal Raleigh. Honestly, of all of these guys, I think that Cal Raleigh is that play. That's where my eyes immediately went to. Remember, Clark Schmidt has big issues against lefties. Cal Raleigh is, of course, a home run hitter. What are his odds? Let's go on BetMGM right now. BetMGM. Let me see. Player props. Cal Raleigh's plus 360. They're on to us, folks. They're on to us. Damn it. Imagine if he was like plus 600 or something. Santander already hit a nuke. Okay. I'm telling you, this is a good cheat sheet. That's why you guys got to tune in every Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. We go over all these home runs. And based on value, you guys can like look at this, look at the odds and be like, hey, he's got some value. All right. Base is cooked with Jose at the plate and he strikes out for Trent Scotwell. Oh, damn it. I'm sorry, my friend. Sorry, Trent. All right, let's go to the top. Okay. As you can see, these are the top guys today. And it's a lot of Dodgers. Have any of these guys hit home runs yet? Freddie Freeman, JD Martinez, or Max Muncy? Let's look at this game. Oh, it's already 3-3. Syndergaard. Will Smith homered. And Betts homered. Okay, so Mookie's on there. But, I mean, nice job, model. You picked all the good frickin' Dodgers hitters and put them all top. Rare model miss. No Will Smith model. Why are you not factoring in my boy Will Smith? Oh, has anyone hit a home run for but as you can see, you got Judge against Kirby, right? These are the guys who are normally going to be near the top. But they did have Trout and Ohtani near the top, and of course both of them homered today too. Interesting. So maybe in the late game, what is Jorge Soler? What is that bad man, Jorge Soler? Let's see what his odds are on BetMGM, because he could be a very good look. Facing a lefty for the second day in a row. Why is my app bugging out? Oh, there we go. Nope. Get out of the way. Mariners. Player props. Oh, wait. I'm on the wrong fucking game. All right, but you guys know the drill. You can look it up for yourselves. Minus 195 on my book. All right, Ollie, 1 unit's ready. Let's start getting into the picks. And I will continue to say it. I'm going to continue to say it, Ollie. You need to start rating yourself higher. You're the most underrated player on stream, courtesy of yourself.
Probably the most mid of mid, according to the leaderboards. But we'll take it. We're on the upswing. We got that record back to 14-14 with a couple of ties. If it wasn't for a little misclick on a Prize Picks entry, that half unit, we'd be 14-14-2 for a total grand net units of 0.00. But
you're just watching baseball and clicking buttons and nothing's happening.
Hey, I'm an honest man. I misclicked. It happens. I came up here with it. I like to play either way. It is what it is. But today, after 3-1 yesterday on stream, shout out. I think the Rays first 5 were the only sell job there. Mm-hmm. Shout out that fraudulent ass team. They stink.
They do not stink.
They're bad. Regression's coming. They won't win a playoff series. They can go on and on. Today, another bad AL East team, the Toronto Blue Jays, who cashed out for me yesterday.
Yes, they did.
I like runs again in this game, but I like them early. I'm a little scared that mid to late game we will get the big dogs out of each pen. That being Devin Williams. I talked about Eric Swanson a little bit yesterday, Jordan Romano. I'm a little scared that you're going to get those guys late and you're not going to see a lot of runs, 7, 8, 9. So I'm targeting the first 5 over here, 5.5, I think. First of all, it's a very high first 5 total compared to the 9.5 full game total. That's a little bit telling from a line read perspective that the books also expect runs early in the game. I know the full game total minus 120 juiced to the over at 9.5 at the time of this bet this morning. So 5.5, don't know if you know math, 5.5 plus 5.5 is 11. So you're getting about a 1.5 differential there. I know they don't always add up correctly, but that still caught my eye a little bit. Thought it was going to be 5. And on top of all that, I know I came on here last week spitting about buy the Julio Teheran stock. It's time to sell it just after one good start. It is what it is. The Blue Jays bats, I think one of the more streaky teams, one of the more contagious hitting teams out there. When they're hot, everybody hits. And when they're cold, nobody hits. And yesterday, they all hit top to bottom. I think they jump onto Heron, and I'm not a Manoah guy. I think he stinks. Never been a Manoah guy. I know he had a good year last year, but I don't buy it. Stuff doesn't look sharp. It's not a rocket. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that Manoah is just simply not the same guy as he was last year. While he was good, Jovan's the leader of that hate club, I guess you could say, the Alek Manoah hate club. I'm right there on board. So I think the Brewers don't love their offense, especially the bottom of the lineup. It's just atrocious. But I think up top, even without Willie Damas, they should be able to get a couple home off Manoah early, first couple times through that lineup.
The thing what's killing Alek Manoah right now is that, like he's allowing, a decent amount of hits, but the problem is he walks the first 2 hitters of an inning, and then there's the base hit and there's a run. Like he's getting himself into his own trouble because his command looks terrible. He can't locate the sinker. The slider isn't getting anybody to chase it. It's almost like you're watching a guy who looks like he's on the decline. He looks like he's 37 and is getting out of the league when in reality he's like 26. It's such a weird phenomenon.
I mean, there's plenty of time for him to turn it around, but we're seeing this kind of across the league with these guys that were really good last year. I mean, I'm a fantasy baseball hardo, and I drafted Cease early. I have Sandy. I have Aaron Nola, and look, like all these guys are just
your fantasy team's in piss. Then,
like, what are we doing, Juan? So I can go on and on, but that's
Soto's
not what we were
been
talking about lately. Yeah, but it was bad month. Anyways, that's it. Manoah. The control is awful. He's missing barrel. He's not missing as many barrels nearly as much as last year. Go on and on. At the end of the day, I think the line tells me that we're going to see runs early. My baseball brain tells me that we're going to see runs early. So I'm going to take the runs early in this game.
I like it, my man. But we got more picks, right?
No, that's it for me today. All my other picks were earlier on. I had the under in the Orioles game. That looks pretty good so far. There's only about 26 runs right now. Of course, it's Mitch Keller Day, so I backed him through the first 5. He looks like he's going to come through for me. Don't want to.
Yeah, I thought the Pirates as a dog today was the biggest trap on the board. I thought it was a legit landmine, and it just today. I mean, the Braves are winning. I was like, I have a weird suspicion that the A's just sweep that, kind of similar to the Pirates and the Dodgers last year.
Yeah.
I was like, no way the Rays get swept, right? They're facing a lefty, and it was a short line. What do you say? They're winning. I was just like, okay. It was just exactly how anybody who's ever watched baseball would bet today. And
kind of a weird slate going on, very baseball-y type performance we're seeing so far. But yeah, Mitch Keller as a dog against the Giants. Although the Giants haven't been awful, the Pirates have been really, really bad this last month.
True.
But yeah, it seemed very appetizing to get Mitch Keller at plus money today. But I took the first 5. I didn't want Holderman and Bednar through yesterday, so I want to take the bullpens out of it.
That's a good point.
But yeah, and again, just another half unit play until we get back to even. I think that's going to be the move, is just to build up brick by brick with little chunks.
It is interesting, the distinction between you and Krabs. Krabs comes on and gives a 3-unit bomb every day, and you're 0.5 guys, and results. With all due respect to Krabs out there, the results are speaking for themselves.
So I got a dog to feed. I got a mortgage to pay. I can't be affording to sling out 3-unit bombs all over the place.
I respect it. I respect Krabs too. We just got to win bets. That's all I care about. Just winning bets and making our money bigger.
That's right. Trying to get in the green, trying to win some bets. So good luck to everybody else out here today. Hopefully you sons of bitches can actually put up a green day. That would be great, because
that'd be insane.
I'm on 4 in a row here on stream, so I'm really holding my own. Not to brag, but bragging a little bit.
And you should. I want you to stop underrating yourself. I want you to stop underrating yourself, because you are a killer. There's a reason you're on stream, all right? I'll talk to you soon. Keep it up, my friend.
See ya.
All right. We got more people in queue. Cowboys Nick, bring it to us.
What's up, Peter?
How'd you do yesterday? I'm not saying that in a way. I don't know.
Classic 2-2 minus 0.3 units.
I also did a little bit of free entertainment. I went 1-1 in my picks for exactly $0.00. Just sat in front of the TV and watched baseball, and then I lost my 0.2 unit prize picks entry. So
you just stressed a lot, like I did.
Yeah, I just had anxiety yesterday.
I mean, nothing new. Nothing new.
Nothing new.
if you don't have anxiety watching baseball with money on the line,
it's a scary
talk
sport.
To me.
It's a scary sport. Yeah. All right, let's get into the picks though. What do you got for us today?
All right, so I have one bet on MGM, and I have one prize picks entry. First prize picks entry of the year for me.
Let's get after it.
All right, so the book bet, I've got the Diamondbacks and the Rockies first 5 over 5.5. So I know you're on the full game under here, and I actually don't mind that at all, because both of these pens are like sneakily quite good. But the 2 starters that we have going, neither of them are good at all.
Yes.
Henry, I mean, I know you guys who are into in like actually looking at individual pitches that guys throw, love to talk about how bad Henry is. So I don't need to go into him. And Dinelson Lamet starting for the Rockies is kind of in the same boat. I mean, he used to be good. He finished 4th in the Cy Young in the COVID year back in 2020, got hurt, and has been terrible since then. I think that there's a pretty reasonable chance that one of the offenses is cold, but I honestly think that we get 6 out of one of these teams through the first 5. So I think we're going to be like 6-1 through 5, and then it ends like 6-3 or something.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking too on this game. I was like, 10 for the full game with how rest of these bullpens are is too much. But I was like, the first 5 might actually go over. Like, it's one of those games where it's like, oh crap, Peter, you just gave us the under on 10, and
and there's 7 runs in 2 innings.
And then it's fucking 6-2, and we're going into the 6th inning. We just got to sweat, and then no runs are scored for the rest of the game. That's kind of how I see it. I don't think it's actually going to be 6-2. I think this is going to be a sweat for you. I think it's either going to land on 5 or 6 through the first 5 innings. But the fact, I mean, minus 110 is a pretty good price for you. Who do you think wins through 5? Just curious. Like, when you were handicapping the game, because I don't know if you've seen Lamet in the minor leagues. His command is back. Could just backfire. Could look back to being horrible. But command is so huge for him. And in the minors, in his rehab, the command has been there. So I'm just
I have the Rockies.
Rockies. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I have it close. I have it like 3.05 to 2.8.
But you're still seeing value there.
Yep.
Good stuff, my man. What else you got for us? Anything?
So I have a little prize picks 2-legger.
Let's get after it.
So you guys were just talking about home run props. Jorge Soler.
Yes.
And we're like, oh yeah, he's got to be like minus 195 to hit a home run. He's actually plus 270 on MGM to hit a home run. But his fantasy score on Prize Picks is 6.5. And that felt like absurdly low to me.
That is low, but I almost feel like he either hits a home run or he sucks today.
So I think what we get is actually so with Blake Snell on the mound, what's the risk with a hitter going against Blake Snell? Is a walk. Yep. Right. But with this number sitting at 6.5, I think that's okay. So you get a walk, a single, and a run, or a walk, a single, and RBI, and you're at 7. So I'm actually like not super concerned, or even like 2 singles or a single and 2 walks.
It's actually a good point.
And you're at 7
because 6.5, like you can afford a walk. I mean, that's fantasy points. How many fantasy points on Prize Picks is a walk? I think it's 1 or 2.
It's 2.
2. So
and that's important.
Yeah, it is. A single is 3, and RBI I think is 2 or 3.
Yeah, yes. RBIs, runs, walks are 2. Single is 3. Double is 5.
Yeah, that line is a little bit too low.
Yeah, like an RBI double cashes it too.
Tell Nick to check his text and he can read my plays. I'm going to be home late from my unborn baby's appointment. Shout out Ben. Baby on the way.
Yeah.
We love that for Ben. Shout out Ben. Shout out the GOAT Ben. That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to,
I can read Ben's play. I have my second leg.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I can read Ben's
I got distracted by an unborn baby. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, there's going to be like little mini Capwise in like August.
That's awesome. That makes me smile.
So Soler you agree? It's just like a extremely low number. I was expecting like 8.5.
Yeah, I think 7.5 is where I'd put it. So I think you're getting value for sure.
All right. So the other guy that I like, Matt McClain, young kid on the Reds.
We love Matt McClain.
He is raking right now. Especially against lefties. I mean, it's an extremely small sample size. Only 18 plate appearances, but he's batting .444 against lefties with like a 122 OPS. Bunch of RBIs, bunch of runs, home run in there. Hitting extremely well. And against James Paxton, James Paxton, like at one point was good, but again, giving up a bunch of walks, giving up a bunch of hits, giving up 4 home runs in his 3 starts. With McClain on fire, with good hitting conditions in Boston, with him batting second on the road team. So I think a pretty high probability for 5 plate appearances from him. I think 7 is just way too low. And again, even if he gets like
good
a
number,
walk,
good number.
Yeah, I think it's a good number. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about things being like too low, too high with fantasy score because there's so many like discrete jumps
variables
that get made.
Yeah. It's a good number though. And I
yeah.
know Colby's going to come on next. He's behind you in queue. I want to ask him about the McLean prop because, excuse me, I know he's a Red Sox fan, been watching this series too. So, and he's a big prospect guy. Colby's one of the smartest people I know in terms of baseball. So we'll ask him about that next. Can you read Ben's play for us?
Yeah. Do you have the graphic to put up on the screen?
Yes, we do. We got Ben's. He's rolling with Tommy Henry over 3.5 Ks and Braxton Garrett over 4.5 Ks on Prize Picks. It's a sneaky good entry.
Yeah. I mean, Ben had a super sneaky good entry last time.
Oh, he killed it. And I was making fun of him.
Guys. Yeah. No, as soon as you start making fun of
and the only reason I was making fun of him was because I was like, it's a 4-leg. Like, those don't hit often. So I was like, which is selling? It's like one of those kind of thing. 2-leg, Ben's good on Prize Picks.
Yeah.
It's just 4 legs. I'm like, Ben.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough to hit.
It's tough.
Uh-huh.
These are just hard.
Yeah. It's funny. It's a giant meme on my stream that whenever I shit talk somebody, it's like, oh, like the A's. Yeah, they have this bozo Brett Rooker batting cleanup. It's like, no way they're going to be good. And then he breaks out and hits.
like Ryan Noda's leading the American League in WAR among rookies. And you're like,
yeah, just like anybody that I shit talk, they hit a home run that day.
Yeah.
So from Ben, it says Henry has a 15.1% swinging strike rate his last 2 starts. Rockies 68 WRC plus 30th against lefties. 4th worst K rate against lefties on the road, 27%. Garrett, buy low spot after his last start in course. Would still play Garrett at 5 and Henry at 4.
Good stuff. I like this entry. I like Henry a lot. And the Padres, they can hit a lefty, but at the same time, a lot of whiff in their game. And I think Braxton is weirdly solid.
Yeah, I mean, his season-long numbers look terrible because of that one start that he had where he gave up like 11 runs.
Yeah.
But he's pretty good.
Absolutely. Nick, keep killing it, my man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, slowly crawling our way towards green.
Slowly but surely. You went 2-2. I went 1-1 yesterday. Just a bunch of free entertainment. Let's get on the winning side today.
Yep, let's get it.
All right, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. See ya.
Okay. From Fat Girls Inc. Just hilarious username. Peter really just said smart in terms of baseball, but not smart overall. GG just called you stupid. Let's welcome on Colby Olson. Colby, I showered you with praise in terms of, and one of the most devastating things that's ever happened to the stream. Colby Olson was without lip hair. Colby Olson went on a 10-1 run, went 1-1 yesterday. And what does he decide? Shave the upper lip hair. So showering you with praise on the baseball side because you deserve it. But outside of baseball, I mean, what are you doing shaving your mustache? I think you deserve to be called stupid. I think that's fair.
We talked about it. It was kind of it was something that I had been thinking about for a while, and I was on this amazing run. I couldn't lose a bet. 10-1, but there were, multiple days. There was like a streak of 5 days where I didn't lose. Right. And so kind of the agreement I made with myself was the first day you have a losing day. I don't care if it's 0.1 units, 2 units lost, like you got to get rid of it. So yesterday I hit the first 5 under in the Red Sox Reds game. 2 runs were scored in that 5 innings, and I escaped 2 bases loaded jams, and I was fired up about it. And I was like, wow, we're just cruising to another 2-0 day. Like, this is amazing. And then all hell broke loose in that Red Sox game, man. The 7th inning, Joely Rodriguez gives up a grand slam. Like, the wheels are falling off. And before you know it, the game ends 9-8. And I had the under 10. 2 runs scored in the 5th in the first 5 innings. And the game ends 9-8. Like, that was also a little bit part of it. I was like, you know what? That was a really bad loss. Like, maybe it's a losing day, but that was a bad loss. Like, I think I just need to reset again. But also, Pete, don't forget, just because I don't have the mustache anymore doesn't mean I forgot how to bet like I have the mustache.
I don't know if I could trust you. I'll try, but it's hard to trust you. Wouldn't you say that, though? Don't you want to see? Now you got to prove it, right? Now you got to prove it without the stash. Like, the stash was so electric, but we'll move on. I'll get over it. And now we need some winners. Let's get into your first pick.
We're going to keep giving winners. They're going to be sharp. They're going to be plays that I really believe in.
You can understand why we're all sad, though, right?
I'm sad too. It was sad shaving it off, man. Like, there were a lot of memories involved, but it doesn't mean it won't be back. So we'll just have to go on another run again.
All right, let's do
the
it.
play today. Padres Marlins over 8.5. I got it at -110. I believe it's at -115 now. Definitely still playable on BetMGM. And this one was one that I pretty confidently bet last night. Really looked at this one, was like, wow, this is a really good spot here, I think. So you have Blake Snell pitching for the Padres, who I believe everybody knows at this point as being kind of a sucky pitcher. He has a 4.67 ERA this year, or in his last 5 starts, a 4.69 FIP in his last 5 starts. The big problem for Snell, Pete, is, well, one, the control. He's had a lot of walk issues. He's walked 3 or more batters in 7 of 10 games this year. But the fastball is the biggest problem for him. He has allowed 5 home runs and 10 doubles against his fastball this year. He has a 452 xWOBA against that fastball. And so it's just, when you have a fastball that bad, it's impossible to go an entire outing without making a mistake. Yeah. But the other problem is that his secondaries off of that fastball are pretty insanely dominant. He just can't command any of them. His curveball has a 51% whiff rate. His slider has a 48% whiff rate, but they don't get swings in the zone. He's got to get people to chase at those pitches. And when your fastball is so bad, and the only pitch you can throw for a strike, you're either gonna end up walking guys or giving up nukes. So I believe that Snell is going to be the main driver here in some of the run production early. I could see him giving up, 3 to 4 runs. Another weird thing for Snell, Pete, is his home road splits historically for his entire career are way off. He has a 2.87 career ERA at home and a 4.21 career ERA on the road. And he's not really pitched at any, I guess San Diego is like a pitcher's ballpark. It definitely is, but yeah, that's still kind of weird. So it's good in my favor.
It's in your favor. I don't think it's that weird. He's been pitching at the Trop, which historically teams come in and they struggle offensively. Then he goes to San Diego, which is a top 5 pitchers park in baseball. And then he goes into Great American Ballpark against the Reds and gets destroyed. He goes to, he goes to the Coors and he gets lit up. And you're in a good spot. Miami's a pitcher's park, but it is on the road. And when you have command issues and things start to unravel, and with Blake Snell, he's walking guys, things can unravel quickly. Why is Braxton Garrett going to give up runs today?
Yeah, so Braxton Garrett, on the year, 4.5 ERA, 5.37 expected ERA.
Not ideal.
As Nick mentioned before, though, he did have that one blow-up start where he allowed
against
11
the Braves. Yeah.
Which is just kind of insane. He has pitched actually quite solid in his last 4 starts, if you look. He has a 2.91 ERA, a 3.15 FIP in those starts. But he didn't really face anybody either. He faced Arizona, and that was the one good team he faced, gave up 4 earned runs. Then he faced Cincinnati, who's a very league average offense against lefties. He faced San Francisco, who is one of the worst against lefties. He faced Colorado, and I get it's in Colorado, but they're one of the worst offenses in baseball. That's just a fact. Even though they play in a great hitter's ballpark, they still suck. You can pitch well against them.
Yeah.
So the reason that I think that Braxton Garrett gives up at least 2 to 3 runs in this start is, well, one, the Padres are actually pretty decent against lefties. They have a 108 WRC plus against lefties on the season. But when you account for Tatis, who has a 192 WRC plus against lefties and just a 94 WRC plus against righties, it's easy to see why you can fall in love with this Padres offense even more now that he's in the lineup against lefties. And Braxton Garrett, another thing that kind of tipped me was, you go to his Savant and you go to pitch types. He doesn't have one pitch that has an xWOBA below 300. So not one pitch that he's going to throw at you throughout an outing is going to be unhittable. You can beat everything that he throws at you. And he's also allowing a 55% pull rate. I thought that was very interesting. If you're allowing that many pulled baseballs
and hit hard, that's not going to work.
Not going to work in the long run. I think Braxton Garrett is a fine pitcher. I'm not here to completely shit on him, but I don't think.
Yeah, it's when we're capping, for example, I'm I like the under 10. I'm not out here saying that Nelson Lamet and Tommy Henry are going to throw dueling no hitters, but I just don't think it's going to be a ton of damage. Like you're saying with Garrett, it's I don't think he's going to give up. I don't think they're going to hit 8.5 based on Garrett through 5 innings. I think he is. You're probably saying 5 innings, 2 to 3 runs.
Yep.
Same thing for Snell and then the bullpens.
And that's where things get very interesting. And what really pushed me over the top for this play, Pete, is that the bullpens actually have been good for these teams as of late. The last 14 days, the Padres bullpen has a 2.03 ERA, a 3.54 Sierra. That's still very good. That's 2.03 ERA. I mean, that's pretty dang good the last 14 days. 3.35 ERA and a 4.22 Sierra for the Marlins the last 14 days. So they've been getting a little bit lucky, actually. They've been walking a lot of batters. But the reason I love it is that, yeah, these bullpens have been good. But last night, Pete, the Marlins had Floro, Chargois, Hoeing, and Scott throw 14 pitches or more. The Padres had Nick Martinez, Honeywell, Wilson, Hill, and Tapia throw 13 or more pitches.
I watched it. I had the over. It was awesome. They sucked.
Exactly. Every single bullpen arm in the bullpen threw last night. And like some of those guys are going to have to be getting used tonight. And I don't have the exact data on like back-to-back, like when guys have to throw back-to-back, what their ERA is like between the starts. Worse. But I would wager that it's a lot worse. Wager a lot of money that's a lot worse. So that's what kind of pushed this one over the top, because I don't think that Garrett is going to go super deep into this game. And if he has to go super deep, I would imagine he gets roughed up in the third time through the order.
Good stuff, my man. Last question for you. A lot of questions about Jorge Soler hitting a home run today. You like it?
How could you not? His numbers against lefties this year are just unreal.
It's like some of the best in baseball.
He is like the closest player right now to Chris Carter. I don't know if you remember Chris Carter on the Houston Astros, and like he would hit
Yankee
one
legend.
home run, then another home run, and then you're like, okay, I need to go pick him up in fantasy because he's about to hit 4 more the rest of the week. Like he would just do these like he would hit 6 home runs in a week, and then the next week strike out 70% of the time.
Soler is way better than Chris Carter, though.
You were asking about Matt McClain before I came.
Oh, yes, I was. Yeah, we'll wrap with that.
McClain is damn good, man. He looks so advanced already. And he's, I think, already adjusting to the big leagues. Over his last 8 games, his strikeout rate is just 17%. His hard hit rate is over 40%. Like, this is the type of guy that you want in like the 1 and 2 hole in your lineup.
Yeah,
he's good. I didn't bet on the Red Sox for a reason tonight. Like, I don't think taking the Reds tonight is a bad play.
Absolutely. Good stuff, my man. We got more people in queue, so say goodbye. But again, this play better hit, or the mustache has to be grown back. Will we say that live? If you don't hit this play, mustache has to be grown back?
No, the mustache is going to take a break for a little bit, but like, trust me that it will be back at some point this season. But it's like, it's more of like a break glass in case of emergency type of thing. You know, it's like, do I really need to get something going here? All right, we need the mustache back. Like, let's just hope that I continue on my grind to positive, because we've won 10 units in the last week.
10-1 is no joke. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you, sir. Adios.
All right. Who we got up next, producer Con? Oh, we got the milkman. We got the milkman with a blurred background. I caught the tail end of the surgical stream where you had a little conversation with Leafs fan. I didn't even know that was a human being. I have no context. I just caught the tail end. I was like, oh, should I miss the stream? I was going to come out and give a pick. And then that showed up. I was like, what's going on?
Well, that was last week.
And that was last week.
Long story short, there's a group of them who like used to come on the stream that literally just sit and just chirp on the lines every single day. So I was like, hey, it was a Friday when Krabs wasn't coming on. So I was like, hey, I have an open spot if you want to come on, because they were chirping the squad ride that time specifically. The tweet was like, if you tail this, you should be in federal prison. It's like a meme now. So I was like, hey, I got an open seat on Friday if you want to come here and do better. So took me up on that and probably regretted it. So
did he win any bets?
Twitter's deactivated. So you tell me.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to give you a bright and shiny W on that one.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I think, and let's take more W's today. But we only have a prize picks entry from you. And I am surprised. We were texting this morning. You kind of made me scared because you were like, I do like runs in this game. And I know you're taking Ryan McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bet the over in this game? You're just not bringing it on stream.
No, I didn't take the over because I don't want to fade you. Because I thought it's a weird one where I know what we're talking about. I think somebody else mentioned that too. I could certainly see a little disaster class from these pitchers and then runs kind of taper off at the end of the game. So I definitely lean more first 5 over than full game over. But the reason I just have a prize picks is because I didn't really love the board sides and totals other than stuff that's already started. So wasn't
Didn't today feel like the biggest trap day ever?
It
And like the Rays as short favorites against the Cubs, avoiding a sweep. I think they ended up pulling it out. Yeah, they won 4-3. Like the Angels against Lance Lynn as a dog, I thought like they won 12-5. The Tigers and then the Pirates as dogs with Keller. I was like, what?
I even took in on that. That was one of my bets.
You got the okay, good. Like I was just like, these are all. And the Braves are winning now. Like it was just a free day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
that was my thoughts about the board.
We're just like we're talking about Jorge Soler, who's super court but gonna hit tonight. Like Gary Sanchez is probably the one going yard in that game. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm fine with Soler. But we can get into these props here.
Let's get into them.
Talk right about Ryan McMahon. I'm taking his over fantasy score. So this is a weird one because like the line reading aspect of it, or square reading, technically it is. They don't have him up for fantasy score very often. I can't remember the last time I've seen it. And the fact they put it up lefty is what initially caught my eye. And then I looked at the matchup a lot more, and it made a lot of sense for taking him here, because it's not just a lefty. It's Tommy Henry, who, like you said, has reverse splits, much worse against lefty. And the reason for that is when he goes against lefties, it's really a lot of fastball slider, and the fastball obviously sits 89 to 92 at the most.
I don't know when he's hitting 92.
Yeah, I was trying to be generous for my guy there, but we'll conservatively give it an 89 to 92.
I think that's fair.
And then his slider doesn't produce any whiffs. It's an 8% whiff rate, which is pretty key for a guy like Ryan McMahon, who, when you look at a lot of the lefties that he struggled against, because he's only hitting sub 220 against lefties this season, he's been terrible, especially early on, starting to heat up a little bit, but he really struggles with guys who have a real sharp breaking ball, going away from him. So guys with sharp sliders, guys with sharp curveballs, but guys who don't have that, he's been pretty successful against, especially from the left side, like Martin Perez, who, when he faced him, I think it was a week and a half ago, he was 3 for 3 off of him. And even Tommy Henry, who he's faced one start this season, one start last season. There's a little asterisk next to some of his numbers because he's 4 for 6, but realistically, one of those was a bunt single. One of them was a ground ball to third against the shift, which would have been a routine out. And one of them was also a ground ball to second. That was, I don't know how it didn't get counted as an error, but it was hit hard, which is important because the one against the shift and the one to second were both, 100 off the bat. So he sees them well, which is huge. And Ryan McMahon's at his best when he can utilize bat control and just use all types of the field, or all sides of the field, which he can't when you got a fastball that's sitting, 89, and a breaking ball that's not going to be past you realistically, which is why he's found so much success against him. So I really like him today, and I really like that he's seeing the ball a little bit better prior to the Zach Gallen start last night. 4 games with a home run in a row, which he's I'm 100% down to ride a guy like that when he's seeing the ball well, especially in a spot where not many people are looking to back Ryan McMahon exactly in a lefty-lefty matchup. So I'm absolutely down.
Phenomenal breakdown. Absolutely phenomenal. And we're lucky because you write all these thoughts on justbaseball.com. And I thought arguably you had a better pitch for Owen Miller today. So let's hear why you like Owen Miller over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
What sucks with Owen Miller is that it's now removed from Prize Picks, which, to be honest with you, when I look at the Brewers on the board, there's probably not one that I wouldn't take. Like, I still think, even with like the threat of walks for Yelich, I would still take his fantasy score. I think a lot of the things are the same for him. But for Owen Miller, for those who want to take it on the books or still find a way to tail it or whatever, took us over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. The reason it's off now is because it went like minus 120 to like minus 140, 145 everywhere. But going up against Alek Manoah, there's a couple things that you don't want to do to Owen Miller. And one of them is pound sinkers in, because he's been so great at bringing his hands in. And again, another guy who's utilized all parts of the field. And Alek Manoah, his big issue, or one of them, other than, command issues, you got a laundry list, but he's struggled with that sinker, getting it into righties, which some of it's been just him leaving it over the plate. Some of it's been kind of the inner half of the plate, but it's staying middle of the zone. No command whatsoever. So with Owen Miller, that's all he's going to be able to do. And he's not just a platoon guy anymore. He's been really good against right-handed pitching as well. And, you talk about hits, runs, and RBI. I love his spot at the plate to get this, by himself, but he's also hitting behind Christian Yelich, who I think has a really good matchup and will be on base numerous times, whether it's because of the walk or his own bat. Then you're hitting behind Rowdy Tellez, which I'm telling you right now, if there is a situation where Owen Miller is in scoring position with Rowdy Tellez at the plate, he's scoring. So I think he can get it with his bat alone in this game, but I love, the Brewers offense to put up runs against Alek Manoah today, which is not the hottest of takes because Alek Manoah is bad at his job. But I think there's going to be a lot of foot traffic in this game because Alek Manoah is going to walk a lot of Brewers at the top of that lineup, and Owen Miller is going to do it with his bat. So it's a perfect kind of game script for me to take him here.
I'm curious, why not the Brewers on the money line? Just, as a straight play, I'm just curious.
I took their team total because
team total.
Aaron, I do like, I also sprinkled, because we were doing a little segment, I sprinkled their reverse run line, but I don't have the money line by itself just because that was part of the segment. But I just hated backing Julio Teheran second start back after he looked immaculate first time around. So
yeah,
I want to limit my back.
Oh yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, blacked out for a second, but I wanted to limit my exposure second time back with Teheran, but I think their bats, they show up today.
I totally agree. I wanted to take the Brewers so bad, but I'm like, I'm backing Julio after one good start like that. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Manoah could give up 4 runs, but then I don't know. Manoah's props are always low because it's Alek Manoah finished 3rd in Cy Young voting in the American League, so they're always low, and then they always go over. They felt way lower than usual. Did you see that or no?
I mean, they seemed maybe a tad low to me, but it's kind of what I expect, to be honest with you. And
yeah, I guess I expected the books to start adjusting it more, and it went the other way. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't touch this game.
Yeah, I get it. And I mean, for me with the Brewers, I always, at least I guess at this point in the season with the lineup their way it is, with, they're missing a lot of the guys at the end of the lineup, the young guys who are hitting really well early in the season. Obviously, you have no Willie Adames now, which is a new thing, really affects that lineup. So, I think it's because they're so top heavy at this point that I kind of toss away whatever prices I see for a lot of the pitchers going against them if I like the matchups for the guys hitting at the top. So, if Tyrone Taylor and Joey Weimer, if he's playing today, want to do their thing at the back end, cool. But anytime I'm backing the Brewers, it's because of Yelich, Rowdy, Owen Miller, William Contreras.
Well, Javon, it's always a pleasure, Milkman. You already got a W on the surgical stream because that was friggin' electric. And I think you're going to get another W here. I do only hope Ryan McMahon finishes 8 fantasy score. He doesn't go too crazy.
How about just a solo shot?
Solo shot.
Yeah.
Solo shot. Game ends 1-0.
There we go.
All right.
Get down.
Good stuff, my man. Again, Code, can you flash the leaderboard? Let the people know where Javon sits currently. That number's only going to raise. He's in 3rd place. He's finally, he just finished high school. Congratulations, Javon, on graduating 12th grade. Just finished. So now he's going to be coming on stream more. Is already off to a great start. And I think all of us only expect that to continue. Thanks again, my man. We'll get to Tomas now. Appreciate you, my friend. All right. So we got Tomas Romo, the man, the myth, the legend, on a heater.
What's going on, Peter?
I think you did well yesterday.
I won. I went 2-1. I won.
Yeah,
I think it
2-1.
was 0.8 units. Nothing crazy.
We'll take
nothing
it. Hey,
crazy.
you make 0.8 units every day. You're going to be sitting on a boat soon.
That's the goal. That's always the goal. Chipping away.
365 days. If you win 0.8 units, you're going to have a great year. So
Always.
We'll always take a winning day. Let's do it again, though. What do you got for us today?
So I got 3 plays for you guys today, and it's crazy you're talking about the lines and just everything was a trap, and that was me today. I got ready. Right. I already got screwed off. I thought Lance Lynn was going to shove today. I said, well,
right. I was like, the Angels are dogs. Lance Lynn was shoved today. But I couldn't put that in my brain where I'm like, Lance Lynn's going to pitch well today.
See, and that was me. I played the first 5 under in the Angels game, and the White Sox, I knew they weren't going to score. They scored 1 run. Yeah. And, of course, Ohtani hits, 2 home runs. Trout goes deep in the first inning. And once Trout went deep, I said, well, let's chalk it up right there. So I got the A's. I got half unit here on the A's if they find a way to come back against Atlanta.
Wait, you got them on the money line?
I got them on the money line. I have half a unit on them.
I think that was a good bet. If it loses, there's
every time.
There's bad bets that win. Mm-hmm. There's good bets that lose. I think that was a good bet.
And I like the A's. Everyone's saying, oh, well, there's no way the Braves get swept or the run line. And I was like, you know what? Give me the A's on the money line. Plus 200. Why not? Half unit, whatever. We're scratching. I got 3 winners. I'm going 3-0 the rest of the way. First up, let's look at the Cincinnati Reds, Boston Red Sox game. I'm going in on the Reds money line today. The line opened at like plus 190. It's now down to plus 140. I got plus 155. There's no other reason besides just the insane line movement. Also, too, the Reds are just hitting the baseball really well. They looked really good yesterday.
Really good.
James Paxton, I mean, come on. Really? I mean, come on. That's the way that I see it. And at the end of the day, if I'm getting the Reds at
so disrespectful.
Right. I mean, like, truthfully, if I was picking a line for this game, right, and I see Paxton versus Luke Weaver, you're really going to give Paxton, what, a minus 140, minus 150? I just don't see it. I think it'd be made closer like 120, minus 125, minus 130. Yeah. But seeing the Reds come down as much as they did, there's only one play, and it's the Reds money line today. Let's go Cincy.
Atta baby. All right, let's keep moving because that's a big dog you got there. I love big dogs. All right, let's get after what play number 2.
Phillies, Mets, first 5 over 4.5. I did this yesterday.
Hate Carlos Carrasco.
I hate. There's no one else I hate more than Carlos Carrasco, but he beat me last time. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to bet on the Phillies.
You're going to war.
I'm done with the Phillies. I like, after we talked about this last week, after they did not show up for me twice, I was like, I'm done with Philadelphia. They can't hit. I don't know what's going on. But when I look at this game, Carrasco, I think the line's now already at 5 for the first 5, I believe.
Let's see.
Go ahead and check for me. I saw it earlier. It moved up to 5. Let's see.
Yep, you're at 5 at minus 105.
It's at 5. I got 4.5. Makes me feel a little bit better about it. Also, too, I'm going to fade Carrasco. I told myself I was going to find a way to fade him. And Aaron Nola is not the same Aaron Nola he used to be. He hasn't looked good in his last couple of starts. I said, you know what? Why am I going to get cute and try and, fade Carrasco? Why am I going to do that to myself again? Let's just see some runs. Some runs are going to be scored today. They weren't yesterday. The Mets had their one game to get readjusted after coming off of Coors Field. They're going to get to Aaron Nola early, and Carrasco, he's going to give up a couple runs. He's going to do it. I believe it. So give me the over 4.5. I love it. And I just need to see some runs today in New York. That's it.
I got nothing for you. It's funny. Again, the model likes the under again, and I'm like,
the full game. Yeah, truthfully, if it was the full game, probably, because I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting 3-2 into the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Right. And then we got maybe a Mets are leading in. And I'm just going to throw this out here. If I had to lean anywhere, it's the Mets. I think Philadelphia being minus 115, minus 120, first 5 and money line, it's something around there. That's fish for me. It's bait. And I was not getting baited today.
But the thing is, that's what I felt the whole board was. Like, Mitch Keller was a dog.
Right.
Like, the Angels against Slid were a dog. I was like, what is this board? It's either the easiest day in the history of MLB betting, or everyone is going to lose every bet they place. And I was like, I don't want to deal with that even. I got one play, and I'm just going to get the hell out of here. But so far, like, the Phillies probably win by 7.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I woke up this morning looking, I kid you not, Peter, I sat there and looked at the Mitch Keller Pirates line for like 15, 20 minutes of just like, there's no way. There's no way. And then I was like, what am I doing? I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm not going to come on stream or whatever and say, yeah, 2 units Pirates and they get shelled. I was not going to do that. But I like the first 5.
And now they're winning 8-4.
Yeah, right. And of course. It is what
it is what it is.
But I do got a 2-unit play. I do have a 2-unit play.
I know. Let's get into it.
Astros first 5.
He's back on the Astros.
I'm back on the Stros. They did
banned him
a couple days ago. They cashed for me. I had them on the run line, and they came through against the A's. I'm doing it today. I'm going to pull the trigger on the Stros. 2 reasons. 1, Hunter Brown. Can we just talk about how good he has pitched? I mean, he has exceeded my expectations. I mean, this is a guy that I've been following for probably the last 2-3 years. I mean, the way he came up in the system.
You cover the Astros on justbaseball.com. You do a great job.
Right. And it's one of those things where I knew I didn't know he was going to be this good this quickly. Yeah. I thought this was a him getting forced into the rotation because of McCullers and everything else, that it was going to take him, a month or so to get used to it. No, he continues to light it up. Also, to the Astros, I like them in this spot. The Twins aren't a really good team as an underdog, and neither they are on the road. Also, too, I'm fading Varland in this spot. He has a 5.17 ERA on the road. and he's got an expected ERA. I was looking at it earlier, yeah, a 5.15. The Astros are swinging the bat really well. Jose Altuve coming back has pretty much, I think, changed this team offensively. The Stros are going to get it done. I'm backing Hunter Brown. Let's go Astros, baby. Let's go.
So we got a question in chat that I do feel like is kind of interesting. And you're an Astros guy, so you know this team like the back of your hand. Minnesota has seen Hunter Brown a bit recently. Your answer to that is?
I think I agree. And that was one of those, and that's why it took me so long to, put this play out or even submit it, because I said, well, I know he's seen Minnesota. I think this is going to be his third time, I believe. But this is the way that I see it. If I'm taking, I throw pretty much everything out the window, and I looked at it primarily of, if I had to choose one of these two pitchers who's going to shove today, it's going to be Hunter Brown regardless. And also, too, I just like the Astros lineup. I'm not saying Brown can't give up a couple runs. I could be sitting here, 3 hours from now, and the Astros win the first 5, 6-4 or 6-3. But I'm primarily going with the Astros bats because I think Hunter Brown is good enough. And also, too, we're talking about Martin Maldonado behind the plate. This is not some bum catcher, the guy that's just eating innings. He's smart. I think that's the one thing we see about Houston and their pitching staff. And the reason why Maldonado still plays when he's batting 150.
I've been saying that for years. I was like, it ain't an accident.
Right. He's that good at his job. They're that good at the preparation. And come on, it's Minnesota. It's Minnesota. I just, that's the way that I see it. Also too, I mentioned Maldonado. I think having him behind the plate, even though Hunter Brown's been out there, 3 times, 4 times against Minnesota, it doesn't scare me because I am that confident in this guy behind the plate and what he's able to do. I know the pitching staff feels the same way. I just need the Astros to score some runs early. Look for I'm really feeling a big day from Alex Bregman. He homered the other day. Might do it again tonight. Let's see.
Good stuff, my man. And from Archie_Gambles, only 9 ABs versus Brown in their lineup today. So that's only helping your case.
Makes me feel even better about it. But
no Buxton or Correa today. That's why you saw a line move, because right now, if
what's
you
that
wanted
right now, then
minus 130, minus
really?
130 through the
what's
first
the
5.
What's the money line first?
Minus 200.
Wow. This morning, I believe when I looked at it this morning, I think it was like 6 a.m. It was minus 165 just on the money line.
This lineup sucks for the Twins. Some contact guys.
I mean, that's probably the way they're seeing it.
Julian Solano. It's Julian Solano, Kirilloff, Farmer, Gallo, Jeffers, Kepler, Castro, Taylor. No Altuve for you.
I'm okay with that. Bregman in the lineup? As long as Bregman's in the lineup. That's what I said. If Bregman's in lineup, I'm feeling good about it.
Bregman's hitting 4.
Bam. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Appreciate you, Tomas. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Of course, brother.
Keep killing it. We're still waiting for people in queue, right? Who we got left? Let's give Arm a text. Okay, we got Arm coming on in a bit. King Julian Goat. Yeah, Edouard Julien is a guy who we also love over here at Just Baseball. Arm's gonna shower him with praise. I'll ask him about it. Brown may get 10 Ks of that lineup. Yeah, and here's Arm right now. Let's welcome him on. Aram Layton with a bag full of underdogs today, but before you came on, showering a little bit of praise on Edouard Julien. Talk to the people.
Ooh, Edouard Julien. Yeah, the most patient hitter on the face of the earth, maybe.
More than Soto?
It's funny. When I did the Edouard Julien write-up, Soto was the only comp of swing rate at whatever rate it was, extremely low. That was the only other hitter I could find in the major leagues with a lower swing rate. Obviously, you don't always want to be like that, but if you're productive and you're like that, it works. And Julien's got crazy power, and he pairs that with one of the lowest swing rates ever. He walks a ton, crushes baseballs. I love Edouard Julien, man. He's
a good
electric.
profile. It's a good profile.
Absolutely.
Let's get into why you are fading Alek Manoah on the money line. Javon was coming up here and saying, I think the Jays are going to give up runs, with Manoah, and you're backing Julio Teheran.
Yeah, I'm backing Julio Teheran. I love how you have to phrase it that way.
Because it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. You could have just said I have the Brewers. You had to say that I'm backing Julio Teheran. No, but I will say, so Teheran's first start in the big leagues in I don't even know how long was really good. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 Ks against the Giants. And also pitching in some pretty shitty environments. He was really good. He pitched 5 innings of 1-run ball against the Round Rock Express, low bar, I understand. And then he pitched 5 innings of 3-run ball against the Sugarland Skeeters, 5 innings of 2-run ball against Oklahoma City. It goes on and on, a bunch of quality starts in AAA. And he followed it up with a good start at the big league level. I don't know how great he's going to start. I don't know how great he's going to be. I think he's going to be serviceable. And honestly, I feel like it's a reach to say that Alek Manoah is going to be serviceable right now. I think it's really clear that Alek Manoah is going through it right now. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. To get that kind of value against Alek Manoah was pretty surprising to me. I know the Brewers' offense isn't the most exciting in the world, but with the command issues that he's battled, I really feel like this is just ridiculous value at plus 140.
You know who's we have to give Mr. Javon the Milkman credit. He was the one who was like Alek Manoah over ERA, and the only reason I didn't take it was like it's not like I don't like it. I just it's tough to take the over, and look at him now. I mean, I think you could make the argument like if you power rank pitchers right now, where's he, bottom 10?
I mean, he's got to be bottom 5, I think.
Like
of qualified pitchers,
yeah,
it's got to be bottom 5. And this is a guy too that I feel like I don't have it in front of me in terms of the splits, but he's struggling to get left-handed bats out, right? Like righty, he's
struggling to get out everybody.
Yeah,
like
he's struggling to get out everybody. But you look at the Brewers; they're a team that hits righties a lot better than lefties, and I think that's a big part of this as well. Like, I don't love betting on the Brewers offense. I don't love backing them, but at least, against a righty too, I do like them a lot better. And they've been pretty good against right-handed pitching overall. So, I just think this is one of those where you're getting plus 140 against one of the worst pitchers in baseball. I think you're getting that because Julio Teheran is Julio Teheran. But at the same time, he's been churning out okay starts. And that's really all I need from him, I think, to feel pretty good. Could have looked at the first 5, decided, I don't need to put all the eggs in the Julio Teheran basket because if Manoah goes 3 innings, Teheran goes 3 innings, and we have a bullpen battle, it's going to be close, but I'd rather let the bullpens battle it out.
And when it's going to be close and you have plus 140, after the Blue Jays won 7-2 yesterday, you might expect a little bit of zigzag there. I think it's a good dog play because I think everybody's talking about the fact that Alek Manoah is getting a bomb, but no one's got the balls to be on the Brewers. And I think you're going to be on the right side. Good pick. But you got another dog.
Yeah, we got another dog, which is the Reds money line at plus 140. I texted you this morning. This game has had a lot of line movements. Tons of line movement.
DraftKings that opened up plus 190, Caesars, BetMGM, all these different books. They open up a plus 155. It's just shot down. I think people are seeing probably what you're going to explain during this game, like who the fuck is James Paxton to be a minus 160 favorite? And when he opened at minus 200, people are like, what the hell? Like the value is no doubt on the Reds. These teams, like, how different are the Reds and the Red Sox?
Not that different. The Reds are a team that's a little dependent on playing at home. We look at Jonathan India, 150 WRC plus at home, 80 on the road. Like there's teams like that, and especially when you're the Cincinnati Reds, like they're always a team that's going to be better at home. But when you look at this matchup for them, where they're playing I think one of the parks that almost most closely mirrors Great American Ballpark in terms of hitter friendliness. I do wonder how much when you look at the home road splits, a lot of people like to fade the Reds on the road. This puts them in the bucket of like they're on the road, but this is still an extremely hitter friendly environment. So a lot of the rewards that the Reds reap at home, I think they're going to reap here against Boston. The other thing that I really like about this matchup is you have left-hander and James Paxton on the bump, and the Reds, man, they have made quick work of left-handed pitching this year. It's pretty interesting to see because you remember a couple years ago, man, like we were talking about how the Reds were the worst team in ever against left-handed pitching. And, so far this year, the Reds have a 771 OPS against Southpaws. You'll get James Paxton. I think he's been living on the absolute edge. He's had a couple okay starts, a couple bad starts. I don't know if I'm very bought in. The last start, I think, was more of an example of what we could expect from Paxton, which is a lot of home runs, a lot of earned runs, and several walks. He's given up 4 home runs over his last 3 starts. He's now pitching at home against a team that they could take you deep. So I really just like this matchup for the Reds. I think they're going to, kind of ambush him, knock him around. And if James Paxton can't go deep again, like 3 innings again, this Red Sox bullpen can't carry the load the rest of the way. I mean, we just saw what happened yesterday. The bullpen blew it. So I really think that this is a game that favors the Reds overall. And then you look at the Reds pitching matchup on their side. Like, yeah, obviously I'm a little nervous about Luke Weaver, but I don't think Luke Weaver is much of a difference from James Paxton. And then the fact that Paxton's a left-hander and that plays into the Reds' favor. I just need something half decent from Luke Weaver. And I think he could give me that. He's coming off of his best start of the year against the Cardinals, where he went 6 1/3, no runs, 6 Ks, 1 walk, only 3 hits there. So I'm hoping he could just twirl something close to a decent start. And I like the Reds offense to carry the load.
So you and I, we spoke about, so we were asked, this is a question from Javon. We were asked on our mailbag episode of the Just Baseball show. You have $100 budget and you have to put money on teams that are 3rd place and lower. And our 3 teams that we selected were the Reds for $20 and the Yankees and the Guardians both for $40 each. Javon is asking, because Javon, I think if I'm not mistaken, Javon bet plus 2,000 for the Reds to make the playoffs. What do you think? Like, you were bought in. I know, because we also got to talk about like value, like implied probability. Like a plus 4,000 line implies that there's like a 2.5% chance. I think there's a greater chance than 2.5%. What's it plus 2,000? What is that about? It's something very low.
Yeah.
Ellie's going to get called up. McLean's been a stud. Like, what do you think?
Encarnacion Strand could come up and go nuclear. Andrew Abbott is another guy that this is a team that's skating by with some pretty big holes that they're going to plug. And generally, I don't like to attribute prospects to upgrades at the big league level, because as we know, there's so many growing pains that come with it. I mean, how long were Yankees fans complaining about IKF? Now Volpe comes up and they're complaining about Volpe.
They're just going to complain regardless, unless he's
the nature
guaranteed
of the
immediately. Yeah.
That said, the guys that they're rolling out there in the rotation, sometimes Abbott, I think, is absolutely an upgrade over some of the guys in the lineup. Well, Ellie De La Cruz will be an upgrade from day one, but even Christian Encarnacion Strand, that's another upgrade offensively. We're seeing McLean settle in. I think that value there is 100% worth it. Do I think it's going to happen? Maybe, probably not. But I don't think it's a 2 to 3 to 4% chance. I think it's way better than that. And with how vulnerable that division looks, that sprinkle is absolutely worth it, especially if you're using the MGM bonus we got.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into your third play.
So the last one here, and this was a tough one. I went back and forth, and then I decided that, I'm going to stick with my gut on this one, because the weather does kind of point towards less runs, but I think that was kind of baked into the over-under, which is why I ended up taking the over here. Yankees Mariners over 7.5. We saw plenty of runs yesterday. I know the Mariners offense has been a little bit frustrating, a little bit back and forth, and you got George Kirby on the mound. But George Kirby's coming off of his worst start of the year, one of his worst starts as a pro. And the Yankees are the kind of offense that I think is a tough matchup for George Kirby overall, especially with the way they're swinging it right now. You go to the other side. Clark Schmidt's coming off of probably his best start of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And I really feel like that was baked into this pricing as well. He went 5 innings of 1-run ball when everybody thought the Orioles were going to tee off on him. Now he goes into Seattle. Seattle needs to bounce back after kind of a rough game yesterday. I do think they're going to be able to put up a few runs here. And ultimately, he just doesn't go deep into starts. So I know this Yankees bullpen's pretty good, but Clark's giving you 3, 4, 5 innings maximum. I think he has 1 start of 6 innings this year. I like this game to be one of those opportunities for the Mariners to either get to the bullpen or get to Clark, because he's not going to go deep even if he is decent. And I think the Yankees are going to get to George Kirby just a little bit. 7.5 just seemed too low for me, even with it being a pitcher's park, even with the weather maybe pointing towards a few less runs, technically speaking. If you look at Ballpark Pal, I think 7.5 is way too low for these teams in this matchup.
Good stuff, my man. 3 winners. Let's keep it rolling. Appreciate you coming on, my man.
Right.
And I think Javon feels good about his Cincinnati Reds ticket now after we kind of hyped them up a little bit, because they deserve it. And I'm even thinking about not only doing them to make the playoffs, I think division is a better bet, at least in my opinion, just because the Central is wide open. And I do feel like they would have to win the division ultimately to make the playoffs.
I think the division might end up being easier. I agree. So like, and you're going to get that kind of value. What is it? Still plus 3,000 now?
Plus 3,000. It's so funny. We did the podcast at plus 4,000. Next day, it's plus 3,000. I was like, damn.
Moving lines, Pete.
Moving
All
lines.
right. Appreciate everybody in the chat as well. And looking forward to hopefully having a couple wins today.
Keep killing it, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. I got division winner at plus 4,200 this morning on FanDuel. Now it's down to plus 2,800. Damn it. I should have taken my own advice and taken it. I was literally going to take it the next day because I forgot about it. And then I saw that and I was like, all right. Obviously I want Arm to hit his bet, but I'm hoping they go on a little losing streak so I can get a little bit more value there. Yeah, let's text mid-major. See if mid-major can come on because he's the final piece to the puzzle today. You coming on? So I saw someone, they said Chase Field will open the roof today, Peter. That is generally not a good sign. Chase Field is very particular. With the roof closed, it's an average run scoring environment. With the roof open, generally you're going to add like a quarter to a half a run to the projection. Right now, the model has not adjusted for it yet. I think I'm still going to ride it, but that does not make me feel more confident. I genuinely think they hang around in the wild card race as well. I agree with you, Javon. I just think, like, who's going to win this division? Who's going to win this division? Like, is it going to be the Cardinals, who are minus 110 openers? That seems too good to be true. Is it going to be the Brewers, who might sell at the deadline? Is it going to be the Pirates? Could end up being the Pirates. But the difference between the Pirates and the Reds, and I spoke about this on the Just Baseball show, is the Pirates, they're a team that's getting a lot of production from veterans. And veterans in the dog days tend to slide down a little bit. Rookies, on the other hand, if you're getting more prediction and you kind of get that influx of energy, that's what can propel you. So I prefer the Reds to the Pirates. And then who else is in that division? And then you got the Cubs, who are kind of similar to the Pirates in that sense. A lot of production from obviously veterans. The Reds are starting to remind me of the Orioles of last year. I could see it, honestly. Be honest, Javon and Peter. Do my Giants decide to make some moves and contend for a wild card spot? We're not winning the division, but a wild card spot is doable. I just don't think that they are going to be active at the deadline. Again, another team filled with veterans. For the Giants long term, it makes sense to sell off those assets, whether that be Tyro Estrada, whether that be an Alex Cobb, whether that might potentially be an Alex Wood. Guys like that, it makes much more sense for the Giants to rebuild a little bit, get assets for those guys at the deadline, and then make a big push for Ohtani, right? Make a big push. You got something, Producer Cohen? No, just that same kid said, I love you guys for doing the show. Oh, PP Guru saying he appreciates the show. I do appreciate that. Like, we don't get a lot of feedback. Obviously, we just go, this is a new show, right? Like, we just started it this year. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. Obviously, it's something new that we've tried over here at Just Baseball. My main goal in starting the show was to transform our Twitter spaces, which were awesome last year, in order to just give you more of a show, right? With the same people that would come into the Twitter spaces and track plays on the Pikkit Sports app, of course. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. I've been loving the stream so far, interacting in this sense. So the show's badass, bro. I love it. The knowledge is awesome. I have to come. It's been great. Seriously, love listening about the games every day. Kind of bummed that there's no episode. No, I appreciate you guys. Really, no, that makes me smile because obviously my main goal is just to give you guys free content in order to just try and give you winners best way possible. Your knowledge of baseball is impeccable. I appreciate it, my man. And obviously, I don't know everything about the game. I'm trying my best. That's why we have all these different contributors on. Javon knows the game like the back of his hand. Aram, Colby, Mid-Major, DeGen, Tomas, Jake. We could continue. All these guys are fantastic. Try to listen every day. Love it. W Show, W Cohen. W Show, W Cohen. Appreciate you guys, though. Thank you, though. It really does make me smile. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I mean, I guess we should just do mid-majors picks. Yeah, we'll just do mid-majors picks, get everybody sent home. I know it's nice and warm. I mean, it's not game like this, it's just baseball. Genius. All right, so this is what mid-majors got. He's got the Mets team total under 3.5 against NOLA. Team total under 3.5 at plus money. I bet he took an alt line, didn't he? 3.5 team total under. He didn't take an excuse me. He didn't take a alt line. It's just that's what it is on BetMGM. I mean, he's getting good value here. He's getting good value here. Huh. What do you guys think about that? Any thoughts on this one? Let's wait for mid-major. The thing is, he's not responding to us. So normally guys who come on, they'll be like, yeah, I'm coming on. He's just not responding to us. He might just be filled up with work. Yankees. Oh, he's going up against Arm today. Sounds like Yankees team total under from yesterday. We're not sure. Always learn every day. Atta baby. We love that. Yankees, Mariners. So what I will say is Arm made a very good pitch for this over. Model has a lean towards the under, but at the same time, the model has leaned towards the under this entire series. I assume what mid-major is doing, he's probably looking at the line and he's saying that both of these games have ended around 14 runs in each game, and now they're still hanging a 7.5. I don't really know. I really liked Arm's pitch. I could see Clark Schmidt weirdly pitching okay today against this right-handed dominant lineup. But again, there are a couple lefties that I do like in the Mariners today, most notably Cal Raleigh, Kelnick, Crawford. It's an interesting bet, but he's got another one. Phillies money line. Okay. So as you can tell, mid-major loves the Phillies today. It's interesting. Remember, I think Tomas was talking about the first 5 over, and he thinks the Phillies are a trap. What I will say is, though, late adjustment right as I was talking, Phillies moved to minus 120. Could have been a lineup adjustment. Let's check the lineup. Was it a late move or a lineup adjustment? Let's see if those lineups are Nationals are beating the Dodgers. I knew one game would go weird. Let's see. Stott Turner. Is anyone out for the Mets of note? That doesn't look like an A lineup. No Francisco Alvarez. Is that worth a 5-cent adjustment? Is he that good? I mean, Tomas Nido is hitting 118. Could be worth a 5-cent adjustment based on the fact that Alvarez has been destroying baseballs. I mean, this is their lineup without Alvarez. I'm not sure why that changed towards the Phillies. Could have been a sharp move. Could be on Alvarez. I don't know. Up to you guys. That'll do it. Oh, yeah. Who do you guys want us to raid? Because now we know how to raid. We think we know how to raid. So give us some streams that you guys want to go towards. Obviously, we want to help out the community. The only reason we weren't raiding is we didn't know how. Oh, mid-major's here. Perfect. Before we go, mid-major's on here to pitch his play just out of nowhere. Didn't respond to our text, but is here. Mid-major, how are you?
Doing well. Check your phone real quick, Peter. I do respond to my text, just not in a promptly manner.
Right now. There you go. All right.
Right.
So we just went over your plays. Let's talk.
Yeah.
We'll put the Mets and the Phillies. So you got the Mets team total under, and you got the Phillies money line. Talk to us.
So obviously correlation there. It's really just all based around Aaron Nola. I do think he pitches pretty well today. His biggest issue in May has been the long ball. And outside of Pete Alonso, the Mets lineup just does not have a lot of power. I know Lindor, Marte, they have the potential to hit the home runs. They just don't. And if you look at our friendly website, Ballpark Pal, one of the best tools you can use in baseball betting, it's one of the worst hitting conditions in all of baseball today in Citi Field. So I like Aaron Nola. I like the way the money is coming in on the splits. He's quote unquote an awful road pitcher, but Citi Field can help those stats and how it plays. And no one's buying Aaron Nola at this point. I am. But of course, the Philadelphia Phillies are the reason why I'm down 6 units in this particular contest this year. I'm hoping that changes, but it's really just all correlation off Aaron Nola and him pitching well today. And the Philadelphia Phillies, the bullpen, they have decent arms, and they haven't pitched much the last 2 days, so they are rested if need be.
All right. Works for me. I mean, obviously, when anyone mentions Phillies, I get a little, I crawl into a shell because I always get nervous. Because it's like the thing about the Phillies, and I don't mean it, it's just they either look like they could win the World Series, where they win you the bet with ease, or they look like the worst team in baseball. And that's just it's so hard. Like, they're never like, oh, they just put up 4 runs today and look pretty good. Like, they never do
Peter,
that.
this same team, people forget, lost 15 straight games last year before they went to the World Series. 15 fucking straight games. The Oakland A's haven't done that this year. It takes a really bad baseball team to lose 15 in a row.
They're just so streaky. It's so tough to really cap them. But your last pick is the Mariners-Yankees under. Arms on the over gave a really good pitch to why. I'm curious why you're on the under.
It's because I'm not smart, and that's the only reason why. It's more so the trend this year. It's a very unique trend. It's the final game of a series that has seen the both totals either go over or under, and the final game of the series starting pitchers' ERAs are combined either greater or lower than the opening total. It has gone the either way. So it's a contrarian trend. For example, for this particular trend, the Yankees have scored 20 runs and the ball in 2 games so far. They have absolutely demolished the ball. But we see the lowest opening total with the highest starting pitching ERAs. I don't think they let Kirby go 3 times through the order, and because, again, the Mariners have not seen any significant bullpen usage in this series at all. And Clark Schmidt, we all know his biggest issue, can't get out lefties. The Mariners don't have a lot of great lefties in the lineup. They don't have a lot of guys, and with their high swing and miss potential, it's the exact opposite. I mean, it plays right in exactly what Clark Schmidt does. Yeah. So, rested Yankees, great Yankees bullpen, rested great Mariners bullpen. They also have the day off tomorrow, the Mariners do. So, do I think they really want to get embarrassed by letting 10 runs again to the New York Yankees? I don't. So I do think they do enough to stay under 7.5. 8 runs is still a lot. I know the Yankees have been hitting the Bronx Bombers or bombing outside of the Bronx. 8 runs is still a lot in Seattle, though, and I respect that total.
Good stuff, my man. Appreciate you. All right. Sorry I read your plays early. A little
no, don't apologize.
We're good. As long as the plays got it out, good pitches. I'm excited to watch this Yankees game now. I know you would already
I am not
opposite sides of a total. You're not.
I am not excited to watch it. But I will say, since my plays got read twice, they should count as double points when they all sweep, but only as 1 if they lose.
How about this?
With that, Peter,
if they hit, double. If they don't, we read them too many, so they don't count.
Yeah, just cut this part of the VOD off on YouTube. No one will ever fucking see it. Thanks, guys.
Good stuff, my man. We'll talk to you soon. All right. So that'll do it. Those are actually now all the plays. Glad we got mid-major on. Cohen, do we know how to so who do you guys want to raid? Oh, I'm seeing it in the comments. Ref that bets, cap-wise, ref not online, raid cap-wise. All right, let's raid cap-wise, WAP-wise. Yeah, we love to share it. Did we figure out how to raid? Maybe.
Tell them this might not work.
She said, tell them. Wait, I think you're on the mic, right? Can they hear you? Let's get producer Cohen on stream. He's trying to raid.
All right, this might not work. We'll try. We'll see what happens here. Nope.
Damn it.
Wait. I got it. Now all this technology shit. Aha.
Bang.
10 seconds.
All right, everybody. Oh, wait. I think I'm getting a little feedback. All right, everybody. It was never gambling advice. Appreciate you all. Did it work?
And we're done. He's playing Fortnite. Wait, look. 6 party of 68 only?
Yeah, people just logged off.
Wait.